What's up, everyone? It was the video I just saw on YouTube. I didn't see it, so it was like it's time for the Bucks to fire Mike Budenholzer. So I didn't listen to this yet. So I'm gonna be listening with you guys and see what they said because there was a lot of fire Budenholzer things out there with this losing streak they got right now. Um, let's just let's just see what Rusky Bucket says, and it's one of my favorite YouTubers. Just give out the facts about basketball and stuff like that. So let's see.
I'm going to leave all of that in. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and really just gentlemen because my audience is like 99% male. Welcome to Also Rusty Buckets. Real quick before we get into this one, about half the people that watch these videos are not subscribed. So if you fall into that 50% that are not subscribed, well, then subscribe because you get these videos, notifications when they come out, you see them in your sub box, all that shit.
Well, if
Thankfully, it
you
hasn't been
remember
developed with notifications and
1999 into
whatever.
2000,
So
they
subscribe to the
thought
channel,
was
drop a
going to
like
be
on
the
this video. It is
Y2K
much
virus that
appreciated.
all
Also, real quick,
computers were going to
my
fail,
main
everything.
channel, I just uploaded my second deep dive. Please be sure to go watch
My
that. It's
knowledge, I
much
cracked the part
appreciated.
at
But with that out of the way,
midnight of
let's
New
dive
Millennium.
into
I
the
think that was
games
the
that
first
happened
weekend.
tonight. So let me just first address the title of this video, which is that the Bucks should fire Mike Budenholzer. So the game the second most recent game that I watched was Bucks versus Jazz. Also, let me get the games that I watched today out of the way because someone suggested I do that, and that seemed to be the best idea. Mm.
Tyler, she was like, "Well, biggest Backstreet Boys fan night."
That was gross.
And every white girl in
Hornets
America
versus
wants
Wolves,
to
I
be
watched
Britney
that. Bulls
Spears.
versus Clippers, Bucks versus Jazz, and Lakers versus Wolves. I meant to watch the end of OKC versus Denver because OKC was up like 9 in the fourth, and I was like, that could be an interesting comeback, and I kind of thought that would happen. And then I just got distracted, and the game was over, and the Nuggets did make a comeback, and it would have been an excellent last 5 minutes of a game to watch, and I just didn't. So that's cool. So talking about the Bucks versus the Jazz and just jumping right into Mike Budenholzer, this game was pretty bad for the Bucks. The biggest reason why is that Giannis was struggling, and this team could do nothing when Giannis was struggling. And that's kind of the biggest issue with this Bucks team. And it's not even a commentary on
No.
the players on this team. That's not me saying the help is not there. It's really how the team functions. Like, basically, the team is functioned to where the success and failure of Giannis is basically entirely the success and failure of the Bucks. Now, this game, I just want to point out, Donovan Mitchell had one of the worst games of his season so far. He shot 30% from the field. He got up his points, but he was not scoring very well in this game. He was missing a lot of shots, and the Jazz still beat them rather easily. I should mention real quick that I did not watch the first half, so I missed that aspect of this game. But the Jazz always had a lead going into the half, and they kind of kept it the whole way. Now I will say the Bucks had moments where they were getting close in this one, but for the most part, the Jazz pretty much had this one under control. I believe they had a 20 plus deficit at one point, and it got down to 14 by the end of this game. But Giannis ended up finishing the game with 29 points, and he shot 60% from the field. But a lot of those points came late in the fourth quarter. Like, I believe he went to the fourth quarter with
I know
18,
which one you're on
and
about.
he was kind of hovering around there until like the last 5 minutes. So he kind of went off to close the game, but it was just too late by then. But for most of this game, Giannis struggled, and the players around this team really could not pick up the pieces. And I think part of that is that I was getting frustrated watching this because every time the Bucks went down the quarter or went down the court, they didn't try anything different. Like, it was very stagnant. And what if it wasn't working? They're like, oh well, let's do it again, see if it works this time. And as time went on, I was
Oh,
just
and
like,
then suit nap
is
stuff.
there even a
Yeah.
coach like for this team? Because like it seems like Mike Budenholzer could just not be here and the results would be the same. Like Bud's offensive system and his game plan are still there, but the coaches are supposed to make adjustments. When shit's not working, you change things up. And you will, if you pay attention to basketball, you'll realize that. Like, you're not going to see the same fucking thing every goddamn time, unless you're watching a team that has a coach that doesn't make adjustments. And we've talked about the adjustment things with my coach Budenholzer before on my main channel. I've it's been talked about with Bud in general for a long time now. But at this point, I really feel like this team is not going to win a championship with Mike Budenholzer as the coach. Period. It just simply cannot be done with a coach who refuses to make adjustments. Now you can win a
Right.
championship without a great coach. You can win a championship without even
Stupid ass.
It's about time we did this.
Yeah, sick of these ads.
Hi.
okay coach. The Cavaliers did it in 2016. Sorry, but I don't think Tyronn Lue's a good coach, and that's fine. I mean, Tyronn Lue on the Clippers this year has been good, so I'll give him that credit. But I definitely didn't think he was a good coach back then. But with the Bucks, like, I'll give them this. Drew Holiday was not playing, and that would definitely mitigate some of the staleness of the offense. But then again, Drew Holiday has not been utilized well with the Bucks this year. He's doing a lot of spot up stuff, which is like, why? And still, Giannis is not being used in the pick and roll. He's not being used off of the playmaking of Drew Holiday. It's just a whole thing. I believe Mike Budenholzer should be fired. So that's why I needed a title for this video, and I had that opinion anyway. So I was like, yeah, that'll work. And I also had a title idea for LaMelo Ball for the Hornets game, but I was like, I did a LaMelo video like 2-3 videos ago, so I'll pass on that one. As for some other commentary on this game, Bobby Portis has been solid for Milwaukee. He had 15 in this game on, what was the shooting? 7 for 13, 1 for 4 for 3, which is not good. But yeah, Bobby had a good game. And I thought he was a good pickup as soon as they got him, and he has been. Also, I just put the note, I've barely seen Drew on the Bucks. It seems like any game that I tune in, that's the game that Drew Holiday's not playing. I believe he's had an injury lately, but there were times in the regular season where he's like, is Drew going to miss one game? Okay, that's the game I watch. Like, I've only seen 2 Bucks games with Drew Holiday, and I've probably watched like 6-7 Bucks games this year. Brook Lopez, he's hitting his 3-pointers this year. He actually took 9 of them in this game, and he made 3 of them, which, I mean, that's only 33%, but it wasn't bad. And he had a good game overall. He had 23 points. He was kind of making up for some of Giannis' struggles earlier in this game. And for the season, he's shooting at about 35% on like 6 attempts last I checked. And last year, Brook Lopez was a poor 3-point shooter, like 31%. But when he originally, the season before that, was so impactful because of his spacing. But then he became a really good defender and made all defensive second team, I believe, that season. So it's like he replaced the shooting with defense, but now he's still that defender, and he's shooting well from 3, which is like a perfect combination for him. So that's definitely nice to see for him. I'm 7 minutes in, and I'm still just on this game. So let me get
This was great.
Or let me get this one out of the way. Real quick for Bulls versus Clippers, I have a bunch of notes because I'm a Bulls fan, but I'm going to kind of skip over them just because this game was a blowout, basically. No Paul George in this one, but Daniel Gafford had one of the worst stretches of basketball that I've ever seen, and for the Bulls fans that seriously thought this guy was better than Wendell Carter, I'm very glad that Wendell got out for this time period so we could just expose that Daniel Gafford is an okay rotation player, and that is it. So please calm the fuck down, Bulls fans who thought that. I don't think those people really exist anymore because they came back down to reality once Daniel Gafford actually was able to start, as they've been chanting for him to forever. Zach LaVine is ridiculous. He was amazing in this game, even though the Bulls suck. And that could have been a title as well. Zach LaVine is great, but the Bulls suck. I did wonder, Paul George was injured for this game, but earlier this year the Bulls played the Clippers, I believe it was, and they didn't have Paul George that game, so I'm curious, like, should it be taken into consideration when players are sitting out and talking about record, even though we still fucking lost this game? Kobe White was good, being aggressive, going to the basket. I think him being a slasher is like the best thing for him rather than a shooter. But that's the Bulls versus Clippers. Kawhi was going off. He shot like 70% from the field this game. it was no competition. Hornets versus Wolves. This game was definitely a pretty interesting one as well. Now I did miss most of the third quarter because I was watching the start of Bulls versus Clippers because I was recording a podcast with TSO Sage that'll be out soon. And I couldn't watch two games at once while doing a podcast, so I watched the start of the Bulls versus Clippers game. But for the three quarters I watched out of this one, at the start of this game, the Hornets got 18 out of their first 21 points in the paint, which is not good. Now, that can be a commentary on Karl Anthony Towns. However, I refuse to say literally anything negative about Karl Anthony Towns for at least a year. At least a year I'm going on that one. So, Cat, I can't say anything mean about him whatsoever. But speaking of defense for the Wolves, Jaden McDaniels. This is the first game that I've really paid attention to him. He's been breaking out for the Timberwolves on both ends of the court, but mostly defensively. He's a pretty good rim protector for a forward. He was good at reading shit, smart defensive plays, all that. And he's also been a respectable three-point shooter, which is nice to see. It's nice that there's not really a trade-off with him where it's like, oh, he's great defensively, but he can't shoot. It's like, yeah, I got to worry about that. He's just good defensively, and he can shoot. So Jaden McDaniels is someone to look out for Minnesota. He seems like he'd be a defensive guy to complement Towns, although I still want Cat to get the fuck off of this team. LaMelo was going off in this game, and especially in the first half. I believe he had 15 in the first half, something like that. He was also taking deep three-pointers and making some of them.
I'm sorry, y'all. I thought they were going to talk more about the Bucks. So if he doesn't keep on talking about the Bucks and stuff like that, then I'm going to end it.
If you believe you're going to make it, that makes it more likely you're going to make it because shooting is all about what's in your head, but at the same time about not having it in your head at all. And if you're worried about not making the shot, it's going to be in your head, so you're not going to make the fucking shot. Terry Rozier, this game, 41 points. I was in the train for a while that Devontae Graham was better than Terry Rozier, and if they would have to pick between those two, they should go with Terry, or they should go with Graham. But at this point, I'm on the Terry Rozier side of things, even though Graham is a better playmaker, and I still believe, even though the numbers don't really back it up, I'm just confident that Graham is a better three-point shooter. I got to give it to Terry at this point because Terry's a better defender, he's a better shot creator, he's a better finisher. Even his playmaking isn't even bad. So I would just rather have Terry Rozier. He's also a better mid-range shooter. And even though, Terry has like a $19 million a year contract, that's probably roughly what Graham is going to get in free agency anyway, just because he's young and some team's going to offer it to him. So I would personally let Graham go, whether it be through trade or free agency, or just bring him on as a six-man. But if it comes to a decision between those two, I'm going with Terry Rozier. Also, Terry is very well worth his contract. I wouldn't say he's like very underpaid or even necessarily underpaid, but I'd say he's like right about worth his contract. And initially, I and many other people said he was overpaid. I also put in here, what is LaMelo's ceiling? I was going to speculate on that. I might do that in another video just because this video is already, I still got a whole other game to go for. I'm already 11 and a half minutes into this. I just will say that LaMelo, I think, really has top 10 players on the ceiling. I'm going to need to see a little bit more before I confidently say top 5, but I could see top 5. It's just about how well his scoring is, how far his scoring is going to go, and if his defensive potential would actually turn into
sit down. Come on now.
actually being good at defense.
All the guys talking
Stop.
about cash money and juvenile.
Stop it.
That is very crooked.
JV,
So that's cool. That's
how
shit that's in
do
this
you keep all
video.
this shit straight?
All right, Lakers versus Wolves. This game
I
was
can give you now.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to end the video.
What I know is what I like.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end it from here. It just like he put out some good points of like the coach doesn't change his schemes. So we're kind of dealing like with another Jason Kidd thing again, which kind of suck. Maybe like different plans compared to the two, but still, it's like if you don't change your schemes, or whatever, you're not gonna succeed as like a basketball team, and probably will never get a win a championship. Which he kind of pointed out, he thinks that the Bucks won't win the championship with Mike Budenholzer in it, which I'm starting to see more and more. It's like he just doesn't adjust or anything, or develop players to be better. Just I don't know. I guess he followed too much of when he used to be like an assistant coach to what that Spurs coach name? Can't believe I forgot his name. But I can't even remember. But Greg Popovich, there we go. Guess he was just too much on like on his way, and especially the way he plays because that was like back in the '90s and the 2000s where a center doesn't shoot threes. Like a power forward will have like mid range shots, but you don't see them hit a three until probably the last decade. Like the same thing with a center. Like the last decade, you see them like starting to shoot threes and stuff. So yeah, just something that just gotta change with it. I know they got a game later on today, and well, we'll just see how they do against Toronto. Hopefully, they you know do something different. So we'll see. Give us a like if you like the video. Check out on Rusty Buckets, and also I think it says also Rusty Buckets. Let me see. Yeah, it does say that. Also Rusty Bucket. So yeah, I'm just glad of that too. So check out his channel and also check out our past videos of WFSO as well. Either is basketball, football, whatever. Not basketball and wrestling, I should say. I don't know why I said football. Probably because I got this hat on. But anyways, we have a giveaway going on. All you gotta do is subscribe and comment to this video or other future videos. The more you comment, the more the bigger chances that you have to win the Arm Hammer Fungo Pop. So thank you everybody for watching until the next video.